Hello, welcome to Productions MJC.
Sometimes flat earthers have the best questions. They don't realize they're helping prove the globe. And let me try one on for size, for instance. An offering about how the sun gets smaller because it's floating away caught my eye, and it's by the Las Vegas Elite. And of course we all know the story. We see this model from him saying that's the way things happen. Yet we know his video is simply just an optical illusion of the sun, filmed through a mist or a fog or something like that. He does put a different twist on things by claiming that the sun's warmth shouldn't vary throughout the day, claiming it shouldn't be hotter at noon or cooler at sunrise or sunset. It should stay all the same temperature because it's always 93 million miles away on this model. So, challenge accepted. Let's take a look. And we're all familiar with this diagram showing how the sun's rays come in parallel and they're hitting at, well, it's the winter solstice. And let's get a look at a diagram with both the December rays and the June rays and try to figure out what we can tell them to help them understand what's going on. This diagram may confuse them, so let's look at this one right here so we can better understand that the sun isn't moving. The Earth's angle, the Earth's tilt, makes it look like the sun is moving around in the sky. And the terminology will be North American terminology, like winter solstice is this. It only happens on one day, December 21st. The North Pole is leaning away from the sun because of the tilt. The North Pole leans directly towards the sun on the summer solstice, causing 24 hours of light at the North Pole during the summer. Now let's get a side view of what's going on. Something very interesting happens in March and September on the equinoxes when the sun rises in the east at a perfect 90 degrees for everybody and sets at 270 degrees. Because of the different amounts of sunlight each area receives because of the tilt, that's why some areas are warmer than others. Not only because of that, but there is, because of the shape of the Earth, something else going on. The sunlight isn't concentrated in areas towards the top or bottom of the Earth because it is a ball. It gets less light, less intense light, towards the top and bottom, towards the edge of the ball. And I can explain that in this way. The angle of incidence, or the angle of attack, towards the edge of the ball is less intense. It's called an oblique angle. In these diagrams, I will attempt to explain that the most direct sunlight is concentrated in a small area, while the light at the edge of the ball gets spread out over a larger area because of the angle of attack, or angle of incidence. In practical terms, what does that mean? It means that it doesn't matter if it's sun's rays or a heat lamp. The arrow points to the hottest part of the ball. The energy here is more concentrated, more efficient, so to speak, than, say, for instance, up here. Metal workers use this concept, a wide flame to heat, but a very narrow flame to cut. We see diagrams all the time of the sun's rays striking the Earth, and there's the North Pole up top. Okay, but what does that have to do with the Las Vegas Elite's original question? It seems that folks forget this could also be a top-down view of the Earth, because it's a ball in every direction. The light is more concentrated, and the ball would be hotter at A than it is at C. A is the equivalent of noon, and C is the equivalent of sunset. It's that simple. Flat Earthers demand practical proof, so let's give them some. Do you remember these things? We used to play on these. They were metal when I was a kid, but there are wood ones. Do you remember that the metal on top at noon was hotter than the metal on the bottom? Myself, my kids, and my grandkids know. And there are examples of dome-shaped buildings that are hotter on the top than they are on the sides at noon because of the angle of incidence. Las Vegas Elite and other flat earthers don't understand just simple physics, but it's right there in front of you for you to see. Besides the fact that there's more atmosphere to go through, but that just freaks them out. That just blows their mind too. We easily understand that domed roof buildings are a practical example of what we're talking about as the Earth rotates. This example helps us understand that his question about why is it hotter at noon than sunset is easily answered by holding a round ball under a heat lamp and finding out that yes, A is hotter than C on the ball. So what other practical examples can we see in nature? Well, the Snake River at one point is very wide and shallow. Its nickname is Snake Lake, and its energy is spread over a large area. Concentrate that energy and wow, things really get crazy. That gentle, placid-like river becomes a roaring torrent. This example from nature demonstrates perfectly how the exact same thing, just concentrated differently, can make a huge difference. Las Vegas Elite, you claim that the sun has to be moving away to get cooler at sunset. I easily proved by practical example that that notion is wrong. The exact same reason the Earth is cooler at sunrise and sunset than at noon is called an oblique angle of incidence. And again, your practical example you always demand. The top is hotter than the sides.
Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. This has been Productions MJC.